ESPN dropped the ball here. There's no other way to say it. ESPN, with the biggest story of the year, dropped the ball. Welcome, everybody, to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jerriger, and I'm representing the 904 from the 602. And today, we're talking about ESPN's coverage of the absolute tragedy that just happened in Kansas City a few hours ago. If you're watching as of this video, the Kansas City Chiefs holding their Super Bowl parade, over 1 million people in attendance, what was supposed to be a joyous day, supposed to be a celebration of the hometown team winning their third title in the last 5 years, turned incredibly ugly when a mass shooting occurred. One person has been reported to die. We have a few others that are in the hospital right now, about 15 as of this report, suffering serious injuries. Just a tragic, tragic situation. And my thoughts, my prayers are with everyone involved, everyone that was there on this day. No one should die at a parade. I think that goes without saying. This was supposed to be a joyous, a celebratory day, and the fact that someone is not going to be making it back alive, the fact that you have kids that are wondering what the heck happened, they can't process the situation. You have people just worried, you have people fighting for their lives. It's a tragic situation, and we need change right now, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is ESPN's coverage of the event and how absolutely shameful it was for the supposed worldwide leader in sports, for the biggest sports story of the year, maybe the biggest story in America this year. They completely dropped the ball. Now, I want to say this before we go any further. NFL Live was great. Rutledge was great. Marcus Spears was phenomenal. Adam Schefter was great. Everyone on that crew did a great job addressing the gravity of the situation, which doesn't surprise me in the slightest bit. That's one thing that ESPN and the NFL Live crew does very, very well. We saw that with Damar Hamlin when that happened live during the Bills-Bengals game last year. They did a very good job addressing the gravity and the way of the situation, treating it with the seriousness and the respect and the magnitude that it deserved. So there's no complaints there with NFL Live's coverage. It's everything else that ESPN did that needs to be talked about. There were 1 million people there. This was a celebration for the most watched TV event in U.S. history. And ESPN did not cover it live. You know what they were showing at the same time that this shooting happened? You know what they were showing? I want to show you.
It's something that you will take all in when you're done playing and be able to watch with your grandkids.
James, what a pass to Russell.
You know, and say that I played against one of the best players that ever played this game.
Crossover beats him like a drum and ties the game.
Every year that we get to do this, it's insane.
James falling away, it's up, got it.
You look forward to the battles, but you also appreciate the mutual respect.
Respect factor off the charts.
Oh, we keep doing this, bro. Okay.
Two legends, two champions, and boy, do they battle here tonight.
Hello, world. Should I say happy Valentine's Day? Look, I know it's about the flowers, I know it's about the candy, but damn it, it's about matchmaking.
I'm not making that up. They were showing LeBron James hypotheticals. They were airing NBA Today, despite the fact that there were no NBA games taking place at the same time. They were airing a studio show about the NBA while there was a mass shooting taking place after the Super Bowl. Maybe the biggest news story of the year in the USA, and it involves sports. And you don't cut in live when every other network, even FS1, has done so. And the sad part about this is that you had to have a contingency plan in place. That's just the reality of the situation. Unfortunately, I can't say that something like this was unexpected. You had the disaster at the Cowboys parade in 1993. You had a shooting at the Raptors parade in 2019. A mass gathering with over 1 million people. You need to have contingency plans in place where if this happens, we're doing X, Y, and Z. If something should happen at the parade, we're going to cut into this, we're going to cut into this, here's what we're going to do. You have ABC News. Why couldn't you go to them? Why couldn't you just simulcast that? You can cut into the ABC simulcast of Kansas City station. They were showing it. Why couldn't you do that? You could just cut into NFL Live earlier because it was almost coinciding with that, but you didn't do that. It took 40 minutes for them to address the situation. And this was a serious situation, obviously. You had a mass shooting at a Super Bowl parade, And it took them 40 minutes to address it because they had to show NBA Today with LeBron James hypotheticals. And they didn't even show as much as breaking news on the ticker. Look at what they showed for NFL Live promoting next. They just said people are going to be on this show. The Chiefs signed a key coordinator to an extension. Like, how hard is it to say on the ticker, news about the shooting? How hard is it to do that? And then on top of that, you have other shows, other people not really taking the seriousness of the situation seriously. And I like Tony Rehalle a lot, but Around the Horn moved from ESPN to ESPN2, and at the end of the day, Around the Horn is essentially a glorified game show. You win, you get points and whatnot, and he tweets this out with exclamation points, and it just doesn't make any sense why he would tweet that out. And it's not a scheduled tweet, because obviously they had no idea that it was going from ESPN to ESPN2, and on top of that, Around the Horn then retweeted that. You can't say because of the news in Kansas City, because of the shooting in Kansas City, we're moving from ESPN to ESPN2. You have to tweet that out like it's an exciting moment. Like, come on. Come on. It's absolutely crazy that ESPN did not show live coverage of the shooting until it was done. You had every other network showing it, every other sports network showing it, and ESPN decided not to do it because they had to show NBA Today. They had to show some LeBron James hypotheticals as we head to the All-Star break. They couldn't cut to NFL Live earlier. They couldn't cut to ABC News, even though Disney owns ABC and ESPN, so they're under the same umbrella. There's no reason you couldn't do that, but just absolutely crazy. It's like they had no contingency plan whatsoever, even though history unfortunately dictates this. I'm not the only one that feels this way about ESPN dropping the ball. You see this tweet from Bang Hu, the owner and the editor of a great website called Awful Announcing, and he said that it was very odd they didn't show anything on the ticker. He was criticizing ESPN's coverage, and he also received reports from staff members on ESPN that were livid about how ESPN handled the situation. So this is not just me who feels this way. Apparently there are some frustrations internally from members in the company who felt like their company completely dropped the ball with this story here. You've cut into simulcast of coverage before. You've done it before. You've talked about quote-unquote non-sports related stories before on the platform. Obviously, this is a major sports story, but you get the idea. It's not something that took place on the field or involved a coach or a player necessarily. But still, you've done that before, and you don't do it here. You don't do it here for the biggest event in the United States this year, maybe the biggest story in the U.S. this year, a mass shooting taking place at a Super Bowl celebration. You don't go in live. It's just shameful. It's just shameful. They completely dropped the ball with their coverage. Just throw it to something else. Don't show NBA studio shows. Just cut into SportsCenter, cut into NFL Live, cut into ABC News, cut into the Kansas City ABC station, cut into anything else. Show something. Don't show this. Absolutely shameful on ESPN's part. They completely dropped the ball here with this entire situation. But what are your thoughts on ESPN's coverage of the event? Let me know in the comments down below. And hopefully, if you were there today, hopefully you're okay. Hopefully everything is okay. And hopefully we only see one person die and the death total doesn't go up. And hopefully the injury total does not go up with this. But that's going to do it for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, Jaguar 9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. I'm doing some Super Bowl related stuff on that channel throughout the week, so go check that out if you haven't already. Until next time, Jaguar 9 signing off, and as always, go Jags, but my thoughts and prayers today are with Kansas City.